All right, we have a few people that Zoom is coming in. I'm sorry, we're starting just a few minutes late. So let me watch and make sure everybody who is in the queue gets dumped in live, and then I'll make sure we get everybody introduced. This is going to be you guys have no idea what you're in for. This is going to be the most fun night. You think you're just going to watch some stuff and get some info and you're going to have more fun than you thought. First of all, I'm kind of in a fun mood, so that's going to help. Second of all, you get to meet James and Jaron, so that'll be fun. It looks like we have most of the people in, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. As most of you know, I'm Kat. I'm your host tonight here at Revealed Films, and I am with James Wall. Hi, James.
Hi, guys. Thanks for being here.
And Jaron, no last name.
Jaron Rhyme. Nice to see you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Jaron. We'll just call you Jaron. That's what it says.
That's right. Jaron, Jer, it's all the same around my family. So
nice.
Works good.
It's nice to have you. And we're going to have Justin, who works on my team here at Revealed, with us for kind of a surprise. So I'm really excited to get into this and introduce you. So go ahead and put in the chat if you've been with us before for a tri-day trading night, or if this is your first time, you're discovering what's going on with tri-day trading. I'd be interested to know if you know a little bit about it or if you're brand new. And yeah, let us know where you're from too. Hi, Kathy in Scottsdale, one of my favorite places, especially in the wintertime here in Utah.
Yeah.
I like to head down there. So looks like we got some people. This will be new information. So James, I'm going to have you kick it off and tell us a little bit about you. You know, the 5-minute version, the little bit about you and how what you're doing became tri-day trading.
Okay. Well, I appreciate being here. Yeah, trading, it's kind of a world that it evolved into. As you know, most of us get in these positions in life where we kind of feel like we're just kind of going through the motions, you know, trying to figure out where, you know, how are we going to get that financial independence? How are we able to, it's almost like get our piece. You see what's going on in the world, and even like a couple of days ago, you see the list of the congressmen and the amount of money they've made insider trading over this last year.
And yeah, the Nancy Pelosi clip about insider trading, I think, has kind of made its rounds.
Yeah, and you start, you see the ups and downs in the economy, the recessions, the depressions, and then the booms. And even a good example is last year, or 2020, we shut down the market completely. We shut down the whole economy, but yet the stock market continues to go up and up and up and up, that it tanks real quick, but then recovers and even keeps going up and up and up, and the economy shut down. And you realize that there's a bunch of money shifting hands still. And the majority of people are, shut down at work, shut down at school. And if we go back to the last big recession, 2008, hey, what causes that? And how come, that wealth all shifts from us to these big corporations, these big banks, these, politicians or whatever. And, we're kind of convinced that that's just the normal flow. That's how things work. But you start to see a pattern of there's, a few people, a smaller group of people at the top that are riding on the backs of everybody else. Mm-hmm. And they're the ones doing all the work, working hard, trying to make an honest living, support their families, and through no fault of their own, bam, the economy tanks. And as you start to look at the patterns, you start to see that there's more planning to this. This is almost intentional. And as I start looking into it, and trying to figure out, hey, what's the difference? Why does, why can't you just get along working a normal job anymore?
Mhm.
And now it takes two people to work instead of one to provide a household. It takes more hours, inflation, taxes, on and on and on. And it really gets to a point where you're going, is this choreographed? Is this a planned scenario? These ups and downs, this wealth shifting. And so I, almost forced into like paying more attention to that and seeing what's going on. And then as you start to do the research, you start to see that there are patterns to what's going on. And then it just becomes, hey, how do I get into that position where I see what's going on? And I start to hopefully shift myself to be able to take advantage of, being on the other sides of those ups and downs. And trading is the best way to do that, in my opinion, because you start to, have to focus on the market. It becomes kind of a part of your daily life of paying attention to this stuff, really seeing what's going on that most people don't even pay attention to until, it's too late, or maybe even never. I mean, I know a lot of people just totally tune out to the whole political situation, economic situation. They just want to take care of their families and be left alone,
Mhm.
right? But as I start to get into this and start to understand more of what's going on, I'm pretty convinced that none of this is by accident. What's going on today is not by accident. The bank crisis in 2008 was, probably some neglect, I think, got us in there, but I think the underlying thoughts in the back of their minds are, hey, well, we'll take the risk, and worst comes to worst, we'll throw this all on the backs of the average citizen, right? And we'll still be fine.
Mhm.
The banks are too big to fail. We all remember that comment, right?
Yep.
And so I think there's this mentality, there's these people that kind of understand what's going on. And then there's a big part of us that are still trying to figure out why it happens. But that's kind of what got me into trading. And it put me in a position where I can, start to see what's going on, see the movements, start, why is this company doing that? And, and then it got into these indicators, which takes out, all of the analysis and allows you to just look at the indicators, and they're telling you what you should be doing and, shouldn't be doing. And you don't have to stay up to speed on the daily, like political. Yes, because sometimes you can't even trust that, right? We all know that even if it comes out on the news or CMSNBC or whatever that is, that news channel, there's like a lot of the information that's thrown out there to kind of create how we view things, right? Not necessarily it's always the truth, or it might be half truth. So the indicators and getting in this direction is the way we found to be able to just use the indicators and determine what's going to happen with
You're like, something just occurred to me, and I hope this isn't wacko, but to me, it's like a recipe, right? So if I say I'm going to cook chicken, I don't know how long to cook it or how much salt to put in or what, I'm just going to try to figure it out. I might, or I might not, but if I have a recipe and I know, I don't have to try to think about how much salt or how long, I just do what it says, then it all
Yeah.
works out okay. And as you were talking, I kind of got that visual. Like, I don't have to stare at the market and go, okay, I literally just, the indicators are like a measuring cup, right? And I just do this, this, this.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It really takes a lot of the, the research and the analysis and, all the fundamental stuff you need to know out of it.
So you started trading how long ago?
2008. So it's been about,
Right when the market crashed.
well, like I say, it's, that, I can't even remember what they were calling it now, but the crash of 2008 or the housing bubble burst or whatever we want to call it, that really got me into looking at this more, and the discontent in your own life about, oh, great, here here it goes again, it affects all of us except for these certain people. And, you just watch the money shift over to them. They're like, and so that's kind of what got me into going down this path, is trying to figure out how this financial system really works. And what are these people seeing that I'm not seeing, and, that's kind of where it started, was just trying to figure out why we're victims to this up and down all the time.
Okay. So when did you start teaching other people how to trade?
2015.
Okay,
when
so
we
you've done
started
it a good long while, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so having said that, I'm going to shift to introduce Jaron here. And so when did you meet James and start looking at day trading?
So James and I met, 2015, right, James? Goodness, I
Yeah.
think it was that long ago.
Yeah.
I still remember sitting in a room talking about the indicators when we were all kind of new at this. So it's really fun to be in the position we're in right now.
So what were you doing in 2014 before this?
So I see a couple of real estate agents here on the little chat. I was in the mortgage business. I was doing, refi purchase loans between 2004, 2014. My wife and I were just starting our family. Because today I've got 5 kids between the age of 5 or between 6. She just turned 6 and 13 years old, 4 girls and a boy. It's a handful in the house, but when I was in the mortgage business, those were easily 12, 13, 14-hour days, and I wasn't around. I tried to be a soccer coach just to force myself to go home, but then I found myself going back to work on Saturday to catch up. Yeah. And so when I was looking at this, I want you guys to hear this. When I was in the mortgage business, there were 4 guys that were day traders that had the best tax returns I'd ever seen in my mortgage career. And it was so easy to get them qualified for loans that I was like, man, I am in the wrong business. How do I get involved in this?
Because I was going to ask you, if I said day trading to you back then, would you have connected? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
I mean, the most I saw with rates was on Thursdays when they would do the unemployment reports and the interest rates. The Thursdays were good lock days, I was told when I was new. And 4 years later, I was like, what day was that? Who told me this? And I saw the little candles, on this chart, and I was like, what is that? So yeah, I mean, when I looked into this, I just saw an ad that said that you can make $100, $200 in a day or in an hour. And I was like, okay, I'm interested in that, because that's what I was looking for. Could I find some online thing that I could do from home? Because I didn't have time to get a second job. My second job was changing diapers, feeding babies, and putting them to sleep. And I didn't get any sleep doing that. So what was the difference, And so when I saw this, and that this company gave me an opportunity to try it out first, I mean, I was like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. So if I can try it out, why not? And that's what got me involved in just getting started. The fun part about all of this is it just gradually built into something great. Kat, I mean, I bet your guys know that with this company, I mean, we're 14 years old. So James and I have been with these guys, almost 8 years, James, 7, 8 years, somewhere around there. And yeah, we've been able to see even the company just explode year after year after year, because with the pandemic that's hit, what a need there was. As you guys were talking about the housing market crash, I had a front row seat. I mean, I had 17 loans in process. That was my month. I was like, I figured out the business. I'm going to make money. And the market crashes. I closed 2 loans and make $1,200. And I was like, are you kidding me? What am I going to do now? Where am I going to make my money? And when this pandemic hit and I was already a day trader, James, you remember when the housing market, or when the economy shut down? I remember at 6:30 that night, I read this report, and it said that the stock market had its biggest crash in one day since the Great Depression. I remember going, wait, what? And I went and I looked at my trades for the day, and they were my normal 3 or 4 trades. Because I trade for 15 to 60 minutes a day, and I get out. Most of my trading is, no joke, my laptop on my kitchen counter while my kids are getting ready for school. I am completely in dad mode. Get off the video games. Go put your shoes on. Did you do your homework? And all of a sudden my computer's just going ping, ping. Sometimes it's a because the trade doesn't work, but my kids know what those sounds are at the house. They're like high-fiving each other. Dad made money, and we're having a good time with it. But when I remember looking at that going, okay, they said the stock market crashed. It was the most normal day in the foreign exchange market. Like I love that the foreign exchange market has $5 to $6 trillion traded daily. So when I hear all the hype, like James was talking about, oh, we're going to go to this worldwide digital currency. And I'm realizing it's going to take a lot for anything like that to happen. When you have 5 to 6 trillion traded daily in a market that's open 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. Like, I love that I can see so many different people internationally or even on this webinar. I love trading Canadian dollars in the morning, Mr. Canada, that's on this webinar with us. And, you know, it's just so fun. There's a market open somewhere when anybody on this webinar is available to trade. What an opportunity. And then here's what really set it for me. I didn't have money. I had like $2,100 in my checking account, right? I was looking for a way to make money. And when I got to try this out and I could see that I could do 2 or 3 trades before I left for work, or later on at night, you guys, when I changed my son's diaper at 1:30 in the morning one time, and I walked by my computer wide awake, and instead of watching like a sports show to go to sleep, I popped it open in 30 minutes and made $200. Do you know how fast I fell asleep that night? I was like, this is awesome. I was so excited. My wife wakes up. I'm like, honey, I made $200. She wasn't as excited because I just woke her up. But, you know, that's the opportunity that's here is, you guys, we can literally make money from our computers anytime of the day. And I mean, there are dead zones in the market. That makes sense. But it's because there's certain countries that just opened. Like, for example, Australian markets and Japanese yen markets just opened just 30, 45 minutes ago. It's morning for them. It's evening for us.
So I'm excited to get to the point where you're going to show us some stuff.
I'm certainly going to try.
Really excited about that. We'll save that for a little bit. But
yeah,
I'm really curious about, you know, you said you met about it and you're like, oh, I could do this part-time. Did you have any doubts?
Of course.
Okay, so tell me about that.
Oh, Kat, do you know how many naysayers we all have in our lives?
Yes, okay. I'm afraid I do.
My father-in-law was the first person I told about this. And I mean, I remember he was doing some paint thing on his house in Henderson, Nevada. I saw a Henderson, Nevada person on here. Mm-hmm. The Scoble family's big. You might know who they are if you're out there, but he was painting a reflective thing on the top of his roof because it was hot. And I go up on this ladder and I'm like, I better tell him because I start on Monday, you know? And I'm like, so I met these guys, they're going to teach me how to trade. I mean, that pole just slammed on the ground. He put his finger in my chest and he goes, now you listen to me. Don't you dare lose my daughter's money. Don't you dare lose my grandkids' money. And I was just like, what? Like, is this what's going to happen? Yeah. 2.5 years later, he was like, I'm so glad you didn't listen to me, you know, but at my mortgage office, guys were like, your wife's going to divorce you. You're going to lose we all react in fear first. It's so silly, but it took me getting out of that money trap to understand that. While I was in the money trap, I was living in it. I had no idea. And so, you know,
that's really one of the things that something you said there, Jen, I want to jump in on. It's like, that's that same type of mentality as like, you know, if you have those few people that are getting all the wealth when it shifts and like the majority is losing the money, then like I don't want to be there. I want to figure out how to get over there. And I think it's like you and your father-in-law. It's like he's part of the masses and you're part of the one that's going like, hey, this doesn't work. You know, this doesn't work long term. It doesn't work consistent. So it's doing something different, you know, is why some people see such great success and doing something different than everybody's doing.
So Darren, why didn't you quit?
Why didn't I quit my mortgage job?
No, why didn't you quit
this?
Right? Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I was horrible.
Go ahead.
Kat, I was horrible my first week. I didn't watch all the videos. I got addicted to those red and green candles and making this fake money. You know, I was like, it's a game, you know, and I mean, I literally blew like so much money that first week. Thank goodness it was easy to start a new demo because I mean, I started on Monday and on Thursday when my wife saw what happened, she was like, so when is this trial period over? I was like, it was that bad. But I started watching the videos and I started catching on piece by piece. When you guys get to try this out, we've got a couple rules for you to follow. You don't have to know a lot about the market. You could be brand new stay-at-home mom. And now I'm going to tell you to compete and see if you can make as much money as your husband does, you know, or now you don't have to ask for permission to go out and spend your money on something, just whatever it is for fun. But the idea is I got a chance to try it out. 3 weeks later, I loved it. And I realized if I stuck to patience and discipline and I waited for indicators and I didn't anticipate trying to think what the indicators were going to do first, I made money. But the problem with most of people is we all give in to greed and emotion. We all try to get in things early. We all try to anticipate something's going to happen. And that's what indicators are for,
Try to be too smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can sit on your hands, you're going to make a lot of money in day trading. That's for sure.
We're going to talk to Justin here in just a little while, but Justin's going to try to make as much as his wife.
Well,
That's
that
his
sounds
goal.
like a good challenge.
Yeah, that's his goal. Then they'll be billionaires. But so I'm for everyone that's on tonight, I'm here to personally tell you, we go out and find the experts in every area. We've done a documentary on Christ, we've done it on wine, we've done a documentary on psychedelics, we've done a documentary on money, and we did one on crypto, and we got introduced to try day trading. And I have never met an organization that is so focused on doing what it needs to do so that you can be successful. And I don't know, James, if you want to take this, or Jaron, if you want to take it, but literally it's the only place in the world where you can day trade. And once you're trained, they will give you their money to trade and they split the profit. So who wants to handle letting us know how that works?
Jaron, go ahead. You've been on a good
Sure.
run, bud.
Yeah, you got it. So
I'll jump in if I need to.
I'm embarrassed to say this, Kat. My wife was already out that Thursday. She was like, "You are not trading a dime of our money." Like that was, I mean, her foot was down. It was over. Okay. And that was the beautiful thing. I mean, I didn't have money to trade. And all the other people that I'd heard only had like 200 or 300. And I'm telling you what, if you're going to take money and trade on $200 or $300, it's going to take forever. And so that was what I was like, why would this company let me trade their money when I don't have a clue what day trading is, back then. And so I got into the motions. I got to talk to the guys that host the webinars. I got to meet the co-founders of the company and see what everything was. I got to talk to the people. Do you know there's over 10 weekly live trade webinars that this company does for our members? And even when you're plugging in test driving this, there's 3. And I actually host one of those. And we literally just go through the simplest pieces of the indicators and we take the trades. We let people ask questions. You really get the sense that, I mean, you're going to trade our money. We care about your success, bottom line. But to trade the company's money, I mean, to start at 2,500, 3 months later, they're giving me some more money. I'm doing the exact same trading, but the leverage capability came from them, not from me. And I'll tell you what, 2,500 to 25,000 later in about 6 months, I mean, what was making me $40 or $50 was suddenly making more. It was, 300, 400, 500 kind of opportunities. When I saw that and I realized I just made, like when I made the first time I made 10,000 and I realized that I did that between like 5:45 and 6:30 in the morning, it just blew my mind. I did my mortgage job better because I didn't care if people didn't qualify. I was happy on the phone. And, I got to start planning ahead and seeing what I could do. So trading the company's money just allows you to leverage. So now the same work can pay you more money. How many people on this webinar right now will go to their boss tomorrow and say, "Hey, I want to do the exact same amount of work I did last year, but you need to pay me 200% more." Who has the guts to ask the boss that question? And that's exactly what we do here. If you're safe with our money, if you show us you'll protect our money, you have more money in the account at the end of the month or the end of the quarter, believe me, we want to add more funds because we're going to make some money. You're going to make some money. There's a split where you keep the higher percentage, but it makes sense for you to be careful and cautious in your trading, take your time, and really grow this into a huge opportunity. James?
So, really quick, I want to clarify a couple of things. First of all, obviously you kept your job, your
I did for a little while.
You did this and you started this, trained this, and started it all part-time.
Yes.
Okay, so that's possible. How long?
Usually necessary. Yeah.
I think that's what most people do. How long did it take you before you weren't doing mortgages anymore?
Okay, so I wanted to quit at 4.5 months, but my wife wouldn't let me. Okay, that leash, it was strong back then. No, but we talked about it. I was like, look, I'm doing really good. I'm matching my income. Like I was like, I'm matching my income. We're good. And then she goes, well, let's make sure, let's do this another 90 days. Let's make sure this is consistent. And then let's have the conversation, which was great because I got a fund increase for the company like the week before that conversation started. Well, 3 months later, I got another fund increase and I quit my mortgage job in 9 months. Okay. But when I got a $25,000 account from the company, their rocket ship it just took off. I mean, one trade was making me $180 instead of like $25. And that's really how this took off. From that point on, it's really how cautious and careful or how aggressive do you want to be. When you learn how to use these indicators, you guys are going to have your own way to trade. You're going to have our rules, but you're going to have your own things. You're going to have your own levels of how far do I want to trade to go? How am I going to protect myself? We're able to really work with that with you because everybody's different. This is not a cookie cutter system. We've got to find out what you're like.
So I think, James, that leads perfectly into you picking up on Kathy's question, which is what's the reason for me using your money, James? Why don't you just use your own money?
Why don't I use my own money and
So
trade it? Or why would
all your
she?
money and trade it yourself? Why are you giving some to me and some to Darren? And like, why are you letting
Oh,
me-
that's a great question. Yeah. So
It's just so you know, it seems weird.
yeah, I think it seems weird from a normal thought process of how we operate on a daily basis. But once you see how the market works and you understand the leveraging and how to leverage yourself, I mean, that's like any basic, business. The difference between self-employed and an employer, right, is you're leveraging other people to make you money. And the same type of situation. There's multiple different currencies. Yeah, I think we've got about 40 different currencies and in crypto and stuff that we're all trading. There's no way me as one person could pick up, even a small sample of all the opportunities there. But if there's a bunch of us trading,
40 different currencies, 24 hours a day, plus crypto, plus.
Yeah, plus crypto, plus a number of other markets out there. And different times of the day. So these current currencies are traded 24 hours a day. Bitcoin's 24 hours a day. So it's kind of like a cooperation, right? If we're all learning the same indicator system, and we're it's kind of like sharing opportunities. They're going to see stuff that we don't see. We're going to see stuff that they don't see. And if you can get sharing the profits with 1,000 different people, it's hard to make up that type of difference just with an individual effort, right? And then you've got 1,000 people happy versus just the one. Then you got 1,000 people potentially, being able to leave their jobs and do something different. And those 1,000 people in a different financial position where they don't have to work 8 to 10 hours a day every day to generate an income. Those 1,000 people, they find other stuff to do that's going to be productive, and it multiplies, and the effort multiplies, and all of that comes back to us too. It's kind of, you put out there, good things and it comes back, but really just being able to take advantage of more of the opportunities is really the key to it. Because if I can get a whole bunch of people trading, and I'm only making 20% and they're making 80%, like, why do I care? Like it's just a lot better way for everybody to make more money in that cooperation, really. That's what it boils down to.
I like that answer.
Yeah. Can I interject too? So
yes.
I mean, you look at like the e-commerce these days to be able to go sell something online. Those guys went big to sell things online from home, and that was good. But there came a point when they started wanting to teach 25 or 45 other people so these guys can make some money with that. As an investor, if you can have your money in the market, like James said, 24/7, why wouldn't you? It's just such a great thing. But here's for me, I know these guys, and I want you guys to hear these indicators are 20 years old. The company's 14 years old. These indicators were not created to start a business. It was for friends, it was for family. And when the market crashed in 2007, 2008, the person who created these, it was a math genius. He was like, hey, come over to my house. Let me show you this. It's not patented yet, but let's see if this can help you make some money. Next thing you know, there's 35 people doing this because they all got laid off from their jobs. They couldn't find a job to save their life. They're starting to make more money than what they were doing. And then the co-founders had sold off their business. They're great at building businesses, guys. That's why we're 14 years old. And these just really meshed really well together. Somebody who knows how to grow and build a business, somebody who has indicators that I've never seen anything like it before. And they said, hey, at first it wasn't day trade my money. So I really appreciate your question, Kathy. It wasn't. It was, let's find a system that we know is duplicatable so we can do it. So the first couple of years, it wasn't day trade my money. It wasn't one-on-one coaching. But
that's a good point. It is an evolution, right? These indicators have been around longer than day trading has been in business, right? So, but they were created, and it was just kind of sharing it between family members. Is, you know, when we came into this, it wasn't marketed to other people. You know, there wasn't funded accounts at that point. It's all been an evolution over the years. So that's a great point, Jaron.
That's interesting. So I want to recap, Jaron. Sounds like it took 4 to 6 months to replace your income and 9 months to go, I shouldn't be doing anything else.
I'm out of here. Yep. I was micromanaged to death. I was ready to go.
So how long did it take to hit a 6-figure pace?
I was there at 9 months. I was probably about 8 months.
That's great.
Yeah,
it's
great.
Good to know. Just, you know, everybody's different, but it's good to have a frame of reference if you're thinking of timelines and things like that. So I want to give Justin just a minute here. I don't know if anybody on tonight was on the last time we did a live with Try Day Trading, but Justin runs this stuff for Revealed Films for us. So Justin runs all of our operations, coordinates tech, and anytime we have a live, Justin's the guy that makes sure everything works. And so he gets to hear everything that we present to the audience. And so Justin, I'm going to let you take it from there and tell us what happened last month when you were on with Try Day Trading.
Oh, so it was funny as I was sitting in this exact room running a webinar that we were, you know, getting ready to start for Try Day Trading. And I remember just sitting there going, I'm going to go through this. One, because we care what our audience sees and how they're treated. So there was a part of me as protecting our audience, you know, Revealed Films community. I wanted to make sure Try Day Trading was a good company and we were going through the motions. We weren't just going through the motions, but that we were actually following through. And so I signed up for the Try Day Trading or for the
they didn't know who you were, right?
Yeah, they had no idea.
Yeah, so I got a text and Justin said, I just paid my own money to do this.
Yeah, I literally, the webinar hadn't even ended. I pulled out the credit card and I signed up for the Trader Lite. Wasn't it? I mean, it's $10. It's not a big deal. And I was like, I'm gonna see how they do this. And then I remember my first session being very overwhelmed. I remember, but I come from a non-numbers background. I don't do numbers. I don't do any of that. I like operations. And so I like having my hand in every pot in the company. And so it was fun. When I first got started, I was kind of cocky, to be honest with you. And I remember Zach, my Trader Lite trainer, he humbled me very quickly, but it was a good thing because he showed me just on the, we first off, there's 5 videos that, you know, they want you to watch before your first meeting. So I went through and watched those 5 videos and was blown away at how much information can be covered in 9 minutes in those videos. But then to make sure you retained that, there's questions that you have to answer. And that was easy. That was a lot of fun. And I was surprised at how much I retained, and with how packed those are, I retained it fairly well. And then we went into practice trading the next time I met with him, and he could see that I was slow to start, and then he's like, you know what, we're going to simplify this even more for you. And he did, and took away some of the lines that are showing up in the candlesticks. And next thing I know, my next trade, I went up $20. And then by the time we had finished the 1 hour, our practice session trading Australian currency, I was up $450 the first day.
How'd that feel?
Which was awesome. And so that right there, I must have had a same moment as Jaron, where it's like, this is actually really good. And I went from there, and I finished the Trader Light like a week ago, and I'm having my first call with my coach tomorrow.
So you're not a Trader Light
Congrats.
anymore.
Yeah, I'm not the Trader Light. I'm moving on to the coaching. So my
Oh,
first,
he had to break the news to me. And the good news
Graduated.
is I know how long this takes every day, so he can still work with us because I can't lose him. So
Oh yeah, you maybe should downplay that a little bit, Justin.
So I just thought was so exciting. I wanted to have Justin on so people could ask him questions too, because he's kind of an insider. And I thought it was so exciting that he saw it and went, I'm gonna watch this. I'm gonna make sure they take care of our people, but I'm kind of curious. And that led to, you know what, I'm doing this. And it always makes it more real when it's like that close to home. And Justin, I understand you found out you have an acquaintance that's been doing tri-J trading for a while.
yeah, I do have a friend. The funny thing is if you live in Utah, it's kind of impossible if you're a male and you live in northern Utah and you listen to sports radio. You guys do a great job of getting out there and advertising, but it's
They're all traders. They're all our traders too.
yeah,
Hans and Scotty and yeah.
I love all of them. And I actually went to a dealership once and talked to Hans and told him, I was like, that day trading, is it real? And he's like, oh yeah. And it's funny is I have a friend that we were in the car together and we were driving home from the airport, and he was like, oh, I signed up for that day trader thing, by the way. And he's like, I've been doing it for the last 2 months. And I was like, oh, cool. At the time, there was no way I could have done it. You know, we had 2 babies, and it was just not going to work out for me and my time. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Let me know how it goes. And then he quit his job and moved away. And I saw like a few months later that he posted on Facebook, he's buying a new house. He bought a brand new Ford Raptor. And he's like, I have more money in savings than I ever had. And I was like, no way, like what changed? And I messaged him privately on Facebook and just said, what happened? And he's like, the day trading stuff is blown up for me. And I was like, that's awesome. So.
That's great story. Thanks for sharing that. There's, I'm not even sure who you're talking about, but we're sure happy it worked out for him like that. That's awesome.
His name's Jaron. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
So one of the things I'm most excited about tonight is Jaron's actually going to walk us through. Let me see. I'm gonna make it so you can share your screen, Jaron.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you're good.
Right.
And see if we can find a trade, right?
Yeah, let's see.
Hey,
If we
I'm
can't,
turning this over to you.
if we can't find it in the live market, I can pull some stuff back to this morning and we can just look together.
Let's
You
see.
ready to go?
Yeah, let's go. I
Well,
wanna
at least
All right,
we
let's
have
do
an
it.
idea of what the
All right.
indicators look like and stuff so they can see it firsthand. That'd be
All
great.
right, and I just got to
Maybe
double
give
click
us
on
a-
share screen, right? We're good?
Yep, give us a
Okay.
little primer and then
There we
let's
go.
see what's going on.
All right. We are in
Holy
the
Moses,
market
that
right
is
now,
something.
guys. Right now. And it looks like things are starting to pull up a little bit. This is really great, just to go really fast and simple. And there's obviously a lot more to this, but if we can do really fast kind of things so you guys get a glimpse. This little bottom indicator is called a pressure indicator. It's the slower moving one, but you guys can see on all these different, I've got a 30-minute, a 10 and a 5. I'm really paying attention to my 5 and 1, at least right now, to see if we can find something really quick. But what direction are all my pressure indicators pointed? Up. They're all pointed up. Okay, now these are what we call our majors and minors. The red and green, these are the big players in the market. These are your market movers. That's why we call them majors. These are the guys that make the market and the money go. The black and gray, it's like you and me. Okay, we don't move the market much, but it's really valuable to see what they're doing, because I like to try to say, hey, it's like the great white shark and the feeder fish. The great white shark's the majors, and the little feeder fish are going to stay under the shark's belly. They're going to stay behind him and see what he does to follow the money. But if the little feeder fish guy gets out in front of the shark, he's lunch. And so that's what we're kind of seeing right here is, looks like everybody's pointed up. When there's little crossovers like this, like literally like your fingers crossing over, not just little touches, it's a pretty good significant opportunity, okay, as far as an entrance. These little thick and thin orange lines, it's really great. This thin orange line is like a stamina indicator, for lack of a simpler word. Let's just call it stamina. And this thick orange line kind of helps me see what the majors are doing. So you see how the angles are pretty similar. We've got some buying in the market. Now it's slow. You can see that the market where these guys are right here hasn't really moved very much, but it'd be kind of fun to see if we can find something in between, like here and here, or should we go for it and go for the buy? I'm kind of feeling like we should buy this and see what we can do. Now, time frame wise, guys, I've got a 10-minute and a 5. I like that the 5, you got 2 5 minutes to get a 10, right? So this is more of a confirmation chart for me. Are my majors, are my pressure as good or better than the 5? If they are, I'm going, sweet, let's do it. And then I've got these other lines. And then the same thing over here, my thin orange, my thick orange are going up. And I'm like, all right, what can we do with this? Now, guys, 30-minute chart, short trend finder, right? Not a big trend finder, but a short. What are my majors doing? They're buying, aren't they? And they're committed in this lane. This is a little overbought area up here above the blue, oversold. Looks like it's committed. It's getting up there. We might have an opportunity. Now, we're really stuck in the middle. Now, if I'm kind of goof around on trading notes with you guys, we've got some opportunities we can buy or we can sell. We just got to figure out what we want to wait for. I want to just get in on something and show it to you. But here's what you guys are going to learn in Trader Light, okay? Trader Light, we're totally overbought. My majors and minors are up here. Think of a rubber band stretching and being at the top. Okay. So the key in this is, if my rubber band's stretching, it's when I'm going to come back to the middle. Do I want to look for a sell, or does my longer time frame, my longer trends tell me that, hey, we're going to keep on going in this? Okay. Those are the decisions I've got to make. So when you're in Trader Light, we've got about 6 trading rules we're going to teach you. I'm really tempted to just go with the trend on this, though. I'm probably going to buy, because like we just said, everything in here is in the buy direction. My thick and my thin oranges, my majors. I think we're in a good place in that. What do you think, James? Should go for
I'm
this?
sure it looks like Greek to the people watching.
I know.
So I like, though, that you know what you're talking, you learned this. So
yeah.
Whatever you think, Jaron. I mean,
okay.
It is a little bit slow. There's not a lot of range here, but
no, there's not.
Let's make a mess here.
Okay, now let me share something else with you, Kat, just so you guys can see this. Like I said, the guys that sit on their hands make the most money. Like, I like that the trend's in a buy. I can tell that it's just trickling. So I'm going, well, do I want to give this a second? Let me see if this is just a push. Is it going to turn around? When I'm doing something like that, it's as quick as a button. I go up here with a click of this, I'm in another currency pair, and I could go see if something else looks better. So that's what we're doing in this. We're not just stuck in one place. We're going to go look for where are indicators the tightest, where do they look the best, and be able to reason with that. Okay. And so I think.
That's a good point, Sharon, too, that we probably didn't hit on enough is, like, we're sitting here talking about the Australia dollar, and it's really important that, we don't sit here and try to talk ourselves into a trade like we just did, like trying to take a buy here when it may not be there. I mean, I look at the orange, we're 10 on the orange. So there's some things that would give me pause here, but like you said, there's a whole bunch of options here. Let's go over to the euro, look at the same thing. Let's go over to the New Zealand. Let's go over to you know, the Canadian, JPY, the Japanese yen would be a good one tonight, maybe some of the cryptos. So once you understand how the indicators work, what we're looking at, it doesn't matter the market. We'd read it the same on any market, right? We'd be looking for the signals on the indicator to give us what we want. And you'll notice, you know, this whole platform's not going to be familiar to anybody because it's all proprietary. The trading dome, the charts, anybody that does have some experience won't recognize probably any of this because we created it. We created the indicators, the whole, you know, the whole system. We actually just did a complete revamp on this. So
That's great.
it probably, like Justin could probably, you know, look at this and go, yeah, it's definitely easier. When I started out, there was, you know, it was a lot of confusion. But once you know what the
Justin,
lines
do you
mean,
understand this?
I mean, it's I wasn't doing 4 at a time, but yeah, no, I'm following along, which I'm actually surprised that I'm able to follow along because I mean, like I said, I finished the Trader Light, and then now, you know, I'm moving into the hardcore coaching here soon, and so I think I think as I go along, this is going to become a second language for me.
yeah,
right.
it will. And like you'll be able to just pull it up, and within a couple of seconds, you'll know, hey, I want to be here. I don't want to be
That's the
here.
point, I think, is not, do we understand it? What really hit me is how quickly Jaren's like, okay, I see something. And I think that's the important part, is that anyone can get to the point where they go, okay, I see something here.
Yeah.
And that's the key.
Kat, can I talk to Justin? Justin,
Yeah, go.
take a look at this with me. Okay, so at the moment, if we're using our 5 and our 1, we're totally overbought. That green values number, that's telling you where that green majors line is. I mean, we're pretty up there. You see why we're hesitating to want to take the buy, because we're seeing this going, oh man, we're starting to max out. And so now we just stick to our trading rules, right?
Yeah.
And in that case, that's rule 1. That's rule 2. We've got a red pressure line on top here. So good to look for some sells if we have it.
Yep.
Okay. And then we've got our ATRs. Goodness, it's such a small range. Oh, such a small range. But that's the fun part. Kate.
Yeah.
Also
you went over the 8.0. And so what I'm looking for now is for the lines to cross and to start trending in a different direction, which would indicate to me a sell.
Yep. And that's what we're doing, Kat. We're kind of stalling, wanting to see if the sell signal comes into this instead of going after it. I mean, looks really good. We just got to wait for the setup. I mean, I'm looking at my 5-minute chart over here going, gosh, I got 3 minutes left. Are my majors going to cross, and are they going to finally commit down? This is an area, I mean, I literally gave this a name. It's a town. It's called Head Fake Bill up here. Okay. When the offense wants to get past the defense, it's going to head fake them and get past. Well, you guys, every single market you trade in, it's called a zero net market. It means someone gains $1 when someone loses $1. The big guys have to make the little guys think they're going to go one way and take it the other. And so we're letting our rules line up. Guys, if this red and green right here, if it'll cross and point down and they'll get a little bit more committed to this blue line, I'm going to be a lot more interested in looking for a sell. Outside of that, yeah, the shorter term trend is on the buy, but gosh, just like James said, we're up here near the 9s and the 10s on this number. We're exhausting. We're running out of steam. And then it's just a part of playing the game. The top of the hour could be a crucial spot, but let's see if we can take a trade in this.
And it's something he said, or I said earlier about, like, you know, knowing what this small group of people that are making all the money, the elite, or, the hedge fund managers or whatever, what are they doing different than the average people are doing? And that's what this indicator is designed to do, is we can see what the big guys are doing versus the little guys. So we can start to see the setups, and we know when these smaller guys are about to get their butts handed to them. And that's kind of what we're looking at here, is being able to see, all right, we want to be with this group. We can see what they're doing, and we can see what the average traders are doing right now.
Is that you moving the chart, or did it move?
Oh, no. It's coming around, isn't it, Justin? You seeing that? What
Yep.
Justin and I are looking for, James and I are looking for, is we're waiting for this red candle to come down here and post below these red and green pressure lines down here. If
Mhm.
it will, we should see these
It's
guys come in.
starting.
Remember the 5 and the 10 minute as, you know, as good or better. Look at how it looks like it's not quite there, but it's on its way. And so if we get a red candle to post below, guys, that's our entry. Our company has entry signals, which is so cool. There's just not a lot of trading groups out there that can say this is when you get in. And that's where our confidence comes from, Kat. If you follow the trading rules and you practice, it's not an emotional decision anymore. It's
Hey,
just,
Sharon,
yeah.
The rest
show him on the 5-minute chart that head fake back about 5 candles back so they can
Oh, sure.
see an example of where the big guys screwed the little guys there. No,
Okay.
go back
Right there?
to live. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
right in there is about where it started. See
Okay.
that head fake there? And
Yeah, they
minor
crossed and went
players.
down.
Yeah.
They didn't commit into the lane, James, just like you were saying. This is head fake bill, guys. Red and green didn't make it down here. It looked like it was. And the big guys went, ha ha, just kidding. And then they
Right.
pushed the market up. And that's what these 3 candles were. And
after the small players sold off.
this was
Yeah, and all
profit
the
taking
small
for the big
players are
guys.
selling off there. Exactly right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, we might have us a good opportunity.
Oh, look, it's going.
Yeah.
It's it's so close.
I'm actually really happy to see the next 6 seconds here because the 5 and the 1 are going to post, and let's see if we have an opportunity. All right, what happened? What did the majors do?
Turned
James,
it back around.
head fake
they
stinkers.
Yep. They were sucking all those people in that were thinking, oh, this is the time where it's going to start going down. We got to get in. And they got enough momentum on that. And you could see they pulled it right back up. So
Mhm. We didn't
that's kind of a
take the
good
trade.
example of the little people getting slaughtered right there.
Yeah. And this is the advantage to having leading indicators. You know, we can see what's happening in the market right now, guys. Price averages and moving averages. Those are things I learned about when I was just getting trained. And price averages and moving averages are what all of the brokers, they have 30 or 40 of those for free. You know why they're free? Because they're yesterday's data. People don't know that. They're not going to learn it unless somebody tells them it's yesterday's data. That's why they have to trade with such wide ranges, such small amount of dollars per pip to protect their money. And here I'm trading at $30 a pip right now, you know? So of course I'm going to be cautious and wait for that trade opportunity and see, is this trend kicking in and sticking with the buy? Or are we finally going to have that sell opportunity in here? Okay, that's what we're looking at. That's what we're looking for, is just when are all my rules going to come around to tell me to take the trade? You know,
So someone's asking about the candles, and feel free if you want, but I'm just saying that's part of what you'll learn in Trader Light.
oh yeah, you know, candles really, we're not memorizing candlestick patterns. I can't see the chat now that I wanted the full screen, but I'm assuming that's what they're thinking. When I was new, that's what it
Tell
was.
us about the candles. So
Yeah, all the candles is they're a representation of what happened in that time frame. This is a 1 minute, this is a 5, right? So each candle here represents a 5-minute period. The body of the candle is the start and finish of the 5 minutes. The little wick at the top, or the tail or shadow at the bottom, it just says price traveled there, but it didn't stay. So it's a historical representation of what happened. Okay, obviously if it's green, market went up. If it's red, the price of the market went down. James, this stinker's just head faking us right now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's making me tempted to go ahead and take the buy so you guys can see something to take profit, but you're seeing us stick to our trading rules. I want to look for a sell. Now I'm going to skip ahead on something just so I can get a little bit of a quick look at this, guys. This is just trade experience right here going, okay, let me look at a quick little longer trend and see if in fact this really was just a breath and it is going to start moving back into its buying. Oh my goodness. Yes. Look at that long-term buy in there, Justin. I mean,
Yeah.
60-minute chart, majors crossing, 2-hour crossing. Okay, guys, I'll tell you what, I'm already from this. Let's do this. All right, we're going to go back to this one. Now, Kat, how long did that just take me?
Like 30 seconds.
If that, right?
Yeah.
So I went to a longer term to see what was happening. And then I was trying to see if my shorter term was going to give me a little sell off, but goodness, this guy's buying, guys. So here we go. I'm just going to look into this. Let me move all of our faces for a second. There we go. Let's get in here. All right. And then we just look for that buy opportunity. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to look and see if my candles get closer here to the pressure. If they do and they bounce back up, there's our buy. And that's how this works. Now, when I was new, this took me 10, 15 minutes to analyze. Justin, right? Where you're like, okay, this one.
I think my biggest part was one of my insecurities when I first started was, when do I hit the buy button and when do I hit the sell button? Because I feel like I was eager to rush, and it's funny is because Zach had to keep reminding me, you're not following the rules, follow the rules, and the trade will come. And so once you just adhere to the rules that are given to you, it's really easy.
Yeah, if you're
it
and you
really
guys,
is that simple. It really
absolutely
is as simple as following the rules. Like that's crucial.
Yeah, and Kat, here's what's holding us back. These majors are holding us back. A candle is gonna lie to you, you guys. A candle is gonna lie. It's just a historical representation. When the market's not moving much, these candles get big and they're hardly moving in terms of what we call pips. So we're there. We want to see an opportunity, but we got to let this guy play out. I want you guys to hear this. If some of you have traded before, we have short-term traders. We call them scalpers, 3 to 5 pips. We have mid-term traders, which I really like to do. Those are people that use 1 hour or 2 hour charts and go for 10 pips, let it run. We have long-term guys. I got a guy that I already saw what he did this, about an hour ago. He's doing an overnight trade for 20 pips on a currency pair. And we have strategies for all of that with all of this. Guys, look, it's so close. Okay. The post didn't give it to us again, but you guys, I think I'm going to take this. I think I like what I see in here. I really want the majors to commit, and they're not. Okay. So I'm going to take a little bit of a risk in getting in a little bit early, but I think I like what I see enough for you guys to at least see the market move on this. So let's hit it. We're going to hit sell right now. I'm in. Okay. Now on this yellow dotted line is my entry. This green dotted line is going to be my exit. Okay. If I win this trade, what am I doing? I'm doing about 60. I'm going to make 70. Okay. If I lose this trade, it's 70 for about 140, 150 bucks. It's a 2-to-1. Oh, it's looking good. Now, guys, look. Okay. Look at them getting into the lane. Now, if I'm trading at $70 or $80 a pip, I'm telling you right now, I'm waiting for these 3 minutes up here on the 5-minute chart to post, because can you see how my majors just committed into the lane? That wasn't hard, right? It was just got to sit on my hands, wait for the rule.
The 66 on there, that's your earnings.
Yeah, I'm up 66 bucks. I'm up 66 bucks. Okay, looking good. Green's here. By the way, 10-minute and 5-minute, as good or better on the majors. Pretty good. Look at my thin and my thick orange. Guys, my heart rate's not even going 100 miles an hour.
I do.
Mine goes
so many times. Okay. and that's, but when I was new, I was like, guys, as soon as this trade closed, I'd be like, honey, gotta check this out. Gotta look at this. Okay, while this trade's happening, can I tell you guys a funny story? 2 years ago, my daughter's in 6th grade. The teacher tells her, this one boy, she goes, Johnny, money doesn't grow on trees. He said something. My daughter raised her hand, goes, Mrs. Johnson, money grows on my dad's phone every day. And because I can track it on my phone, guys. I can
Hey, are you out?
I think you're out.
And
Get out.
we're out. Okay.
$75.
How many of you guys could handle 75 bucks in an hour? Or was that 75 bucks in
like 5 minutes?
4
It's
minutes?
Yeah, it was less than 5 minutes actually, but
That was fun.
Justin, was that worth waiting for?
Oh yeah,
That's what you're learning in your training, right?
Yeah, and that was one thing is, I think one of my training sessions with Zach was we did a trade session where I shared my screen and he sat and watched it with me, and we were just talking and watching everything move. And he was like, oh, and he's like, oh, head fake. And then, and then we go and start talking a bit again. But then we get into a sell or a buy, and then we'd watch the counter just make money. And then we would hit, and it was great. And I think there was only 1 or 2 times that we met where we only did 1 trade in an hour. But for the most part, in an hour, we do 5 trades.
Yeah. And did you guys notice all the emotions we were feeling when we were like, well, we should look for a sell, but the market's this way. And it was a washing machine. We were like, ugh. But as soon as finally the indicators gave it, I mean, guys, that's a no-brainer right in front of us. We're very lucky to see that live on a webinar. Okay, this is what I saw this morning. Guys, my laptop was on my treadmill while I was exercising downstairs, and I found 3 trades and did great. Made $1,000 bucks. It was awesome morning, and that's what I want you guys to see. Why did I make that? Because my account's a little bit bigger, but as you guys saw, 5 minutes, we made $75. If that would make a difference for you, then plug in to Trader Light for 30 days and just find out if it's for you. Find out, validate us, validate the opportunity. That's what I did. And that's why my confidence is here. I saw a question in there, if I'm involved, I host a couple of webinars now, but when I was just a trader my first year, guys, I want you to hear this. I had a lesson month 9 and month 12 when I was full-time. Okay. I thought that was 8 hours. I traded for like 4 hours a day instead of the hour that I used to. And my coach was like, what are you doing? Like, I started when I used to end, and then I tried to trade through the slow markets. And thank goodness my coach was like, Jaron, like, go back to what was working and be done in an hour. And you're a full-time trader because you made a day's income, not because you traded for 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
Got it.
I needed a coach to tell me that the key to making money as an entrepreneur is to go find somebody who's successful at doing what you want to do, follow their example, let them coach you through it so you don't have to go through the same mistakes they did. And that's what I got to experience here with James and with Day Trading and with these guys, just like what Justin has experienced with you guys now. So I think tonight's kind of fun, Kat. You got a guy that's traded for a while, that's made it, that went full time. You got Justin just getting started. Justin saw that as a no-brainer trade. And we all were wishy-washy until it was there, but that was easy. That was easy.
Yeah, I don't even know anything, but I knew as soon as that red hit, I was like, oh, there it is.
Movement.
It's really fun. We have a question. It's someone saying it sounds like you watch throughout the day. I don't think that's the case, is it?
No. What? Okay, so.
No.
So
I wasn't.
have some guys that would, but I mean, you're not trading all day long. If you are, it's because you work from home and your computer's over there nearby. I'm going to tell you, I don't take any trades at the very least between like 10:30 a.m. and usually 7 o'clock at night. It's morning markets and evening markets that work for me. If you're a night owl or you're in Australia and you're on this, okay, I mean, it's morning for you right now, but the afternoon and the market's dead as a doornail. You saw it. It took a while for this trade to set up. So why not trade when the market's active?
Don said, did they just cross again? Could you have traded that also?
Yes and okay. So yes, but here's why I'm not loving this. So this red candle right now, everything came up and it bounced off the pressure indicators. So theoretically, yes, but what color just popped on top on pressure? Green. Green pressure on top gives you a bias to the buy side. Red pressure on top is a bias to the sell side. So right now, not interested. I want to see my red pressure pop on top, or I want these pressures to get really close together like skinny water pipes. Okay. If I've got skinny water pipes, then we got an opportunity. But yeah.
And I think a rule of thumb, back to the timing thing, is I don't think you'll find very many successful traders that spend, more than 2 hours a day on it. And I would say most spend way less than that. Because, you'll set a time to your schedule, like people like Jaron when he started out, or Justin. If Justin's ever spending more than 2 hours a day at this, then we probably should have a talk with him, right? Because you're over analyzing it. There's, you want to find a good time based on your schedule and the currencies that are going to be moving, or the markets are going to be moving well. And you want to, plan it out and know, hey, I'm going to trade from 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. in the morning. And I'm going to do that consistently every day. and you're going to find the opportunities inside that. And some days you may just walk away from it. But if you get to looking at it all day, yeah, you're going to drive yourself crazy and you're going to start forcing yourself into stuff. And it really is not a great habit when you're trading.
That's actually really nice to hear. It's like, be really disciplined in a certain time frame, and that's it. It's like exercising. You do it from here to here, and then you
Yeah.
can have your day. And I think, James, we've talked about this before, and Jared, I'm interested in hearing about this from you. There is programming in all of us that says I have to work hard for my money.
Yep.
And I know it has to be a process to go, okay, this really does work. So how did that happen for you, Jaron?
when I wasn't involved, if it wasn't my emotions that were trading, and I understood that this really was a technical skill, just like a plumber, just like an electrician, this was a technical skill and I needed to learn it. And as soon as I learned those pieces, and they weren't complicated, it's like learning a new language, you know, but luckily it's language 101. It's not overcomplicated. As soon as I figured that out, I just had to just wait for the indicators to come around. Kat, there are some days that happen every once in a while where there isn't a single trade. Okay, the week between Christmas and New Year's, Thursday and Friday, I didn't take a single trade. There was nothing in there. You know, thankfully I had a lot of other things to do. You know, I'm usually in front of my computer for 15 minutes at a time, and I'm walking away because I want to reset. You know, if I don't reset, then I'm still on like rule 5 and 6 for the last hour because they weren't setting up. But when I reset and come back, I start over rule 1, rule 2, rule 3. It just keeps me on my game. I mean, it's a short attention span. That's what day traders have, a short attention span. Get in, get out. And if you can place a trade and let it run, tonight we scalped, we took a small trade. But if you're using longer time frames and you're placing trades and letting them run, how cool is that? The trade can keep going. You can move your stop losses to positions of profit, protect your trade. Let them run. Let them run. Go to the store. Let it run. Close it out on your phone. There's so many freedoms here when you learn how to protect your money, but you use the indicators to gain the trust in what you're doing.
I think just too, it's probably easier since you're doing it in a group and you have some support to like remind you, and you're seeing other people do it, right? That always helps normalize.
Yeah. There's the webinars. When you're in Trader Light, there's 3 a week. When you're a member with us, there's one at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. almost every day of the week, which I think is great. I'm never on the evening one because I'm a chauffeur driving one of my kids to dance, soccer, or karate or something. But the morning ones, those work for me, you know. And then we even have a trader chat app, place for everybody here to be able to chat in with another trader. If you want a trading buddy, get in the chat, tell people what you're looking at. And next thing you know, there's 4 or 5 people looking at the same thing. We're a good sized company. We're nationwide. We're international now. And I mean, how fun it is when I see I'm talking to someone in Australia or Africa, I'm blown away. That's how cool having access to technology and other people with the same goals and aspirations. Now we can connect each other and connect the dots.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. All right, so I'm going to Trader Light is $10. There's a lot of reasons for that. There has to be some investment, right? And then you have 30 days to find out how everything works and really find out if this is right for you or not, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The $10 is, you know, we want people to try it out. We want to make it, you know, reasonable enough. People will try it out because it is not for everybody, right? I mean, the thing about trading, it will teach you what your bad habits are if you stay in it long enough to understand it. But some people don't deal with the emotions of it. Like they're too emotional and they can't separate that. And so they may not be good traders, right? So when you don't know what your habits are or how you will handle trading, some people just pick it right up. Like Nina, when she was on last time, like she must not have any money blocks at all because she picked it right up and went right straight up and has never looked back. Her goal is $2 million this year. I talked to her this weekend. That's the goal that she set. And she's been in it less time than Jaron and I, but it's just her awareness about money is just completely different. So like, yeah, it's crazy to watch somebody like that, but you just don't know till you get in it and you have a feel for it. And you spend some time in it with one of our guys who can walk you through some of the basics. And then you're like, oh yeah, this is a possibility, or no, it's definitely not for me. So we want to just put people in a position to have the option, right? To be able to look at it and see if it's an opportunity for them. And if it's not, great. Then now they know for sure, right? But if it is, then, we talk about how we can take your situation and get you in a position where you are hopefully financially independent, or you are a Jaron or a Nina or somebody else like that. And they really don't care what the market's doing. We don't care if it's going up or down, or, if Biden's president. I mean, as far as the trading, right? We don't care who's in there necessarily, because the market moves and we're going to take advantage of it either way. But yeah, it's worth trying. I think, based on everything that we've done, the analysis, the things that we're looking at, we've got some rough roads ahead coming in this economy, and we can learn how to take advantage of that, or we can be victim to it again. We can be another victim to another cycle, and go through that whole roller coaster again, or you can get in here and learn how to know why those cycles are happening, what's going on, and how to get some power and control over your financial future, right? So either way, it's going to be some education, so you have some understanding, and maybe it's the answer to what you've been looking for.
Yeah, I think that's well said. And it's very important that you guys are looking for someone who wants to take this seriously, which is why you do the Trader Light, so that there's not a lot of non-starting. So you're taking your time, really investing with people who, are looking for this for their future. And, I'm excited to see what happens with and for Justin over time. So Justin's been posting in the chat the link where you can get the Trader Light for $10 and get started and see if this is for you. And you're right, James. We're filming a lot of different people right now, and everyone from astrologers to crypto people to gold people to people who are watching the reserve. Nobody disagrees that we're not headed for some rough economic times, and we've got to give ourselves every advantage that we can. So thank you for having this as an advantage for us to be able to do.
You're very welcome. And
can I say something too for you guys? So
yeah,
it's $10, and we appreciate so much the $10 because we donate it for a really great cause. We actually built some wells in Africa a couple months ago. It was fantastic. But guys, for $10, change the question. Like, I can't be a day trader. $10, find out. Say, hey, I've never done anything like this before, but could I be good at it? My sister-in-law was good at it, and she didn't think she's good at anything. It was awesome. So if you have a reason to make an extra $100 or $200 in 30 minutes while you're eating your breakfast cereal, I do it all the time, then you got to plug in and find out. I'm in Trader Light with some of you guys. If you're getting on any of my webinars, on the live trade webinars, try it out. They're recorded, they're live. Find out what this is all about. It's $10. What do you have to lose?
Right.
If I didn't have that mentality, I
$10
didn't have enough time. Yeah.
Like Jared said, that $10, every cent of it goes to a different organization, on a quarterly basis. October, November, December, every bit of that $10 goes to Sub for Santa, or it goes this quarter, it all goes to St. Jude. So worst case scenario, you made a $10 donation to St. Jude's, right? And we really try to make it as risk-free as trading can be. It's going to cost you some of your time, and it's going to cost you $10 to figure it out. But what could that turn into? And I'm telling you, with the mask mandates coming back down, and the school closures here, And Utah's fairly conservative. If we're getting schools shut down, I don't know if you found out yet, Jaron, school's out.
I did. Oh, yeah. An hour before I got here, I was like,
Right.
you got to be kidding me. Ugh.
So all this stuff, I mean, it's taking control out of our lives. And, hey, maybe you need to stick your kids in private school, right? Like, do you have that option, or do you want that option? Like, or is even that option even possible? So that's how we look at trading, is just giving people some options, right? That they may not have right now. That's bottom line what it is for us.
I love that. So I don't know how you want to address this, but people always ask, and we have Lindy asking, how much is it after 30 days? And my understanding is it depends on how your trader light goes and what you decide to do after that.
Yeah, I'll answer that. It's there's a couple of different ranges depending on, there's percentage differences based on what you invest, what level of education. There's other markets. We cover the crypto and gold and all that. So the range would be, it's anywhere from about 8,000 to 25,000, depending on, hey, what we're trying to do, where we're trying to get to, right? And that's part of the things that will be taught to you during the trial is, figuring out where you want to get to, what it's going to take, and then also, how are we going to make that happen, right? Because not everybody has an extra $25,000 laying around, right? So we understand all of that, but price, I like bringing up the price because it's going to get rid of the naysayers right before, like they're gonna jump off, and they're gonna jump off on any opportunities because price is always the leading factor, right? Not the value. So we want to be right up front and let you know, hey, to become a Jaron, he invested money. Because Justin invested money. Like, we didn't even know Justin was doing this.
I know.
So Justin, is made an investment, right? And he didn't even come to me asking me to give him a deal or anything, right? I never even heard from him, So, like, he sees the value in it. And
well,
so
I look at it this way. I can pay for education, right? Or
yeah.
I can pay for education by losing my money in the market, or I can pay for education that guarantees my success. And I read, and I don't even remember where, when I was researching some of this, that an average of 100% of people lose all of their money when they try day trading. I can't find any success stories. And so if you're guaranteeing success, and Jaron, what's it worth to replace your income and have a multiple six-figure or like $2 million income? That doesn't come without some work and some sacrifice. But what I like is you give us the opportunity to spend 30 days. If I can spend 30 days and go, okay, I can see how I can consistently make money and put it in my pocket, that's a whole different deal than, not being able to see that first.
Yeah. And Kat, I had $2,100 in my checking account. Okay. If I was going to try to pay cash to build a business, because day trading is a business, you can look at it as a business or an investment, whatever you want. But guys, if we see that you're good at this, we have some of our own connections. We're going to try to help you find a way to leverage that capital. I mean, what if you could do something like this for $150, $250 a month? What if that was possible? I mean, that changes everything. What if day trading itself helps you make back that investment?
For it. Yeah.
That's how it worked for me. I couldn't believe I found it. I didn't think I would, because I had a lot of other debts, from being a mortgage guy and having to pay for all my own leads over there. But I believed in myself, and thank goodness 3 weeks later, I believed in this. Okay. I watched the video. At first I was like, well, that sounds really good, but could I really do it? Well, I found out because I got in for $10. So don't worry about the investment, guys. Spend the $10, because even if it wasn't the right fit in 30 days, it's going to start getting the juices flowing, going, you know what? I was pretty good at that. What do I need to do to change my situation so that when I am in front of this next time, I can change my family's life forever?
Yeah, I mean, you have to live in possibilities for sure. Like, no successful entrepreneur goes, well, I'm not going to start a business because I don't have $150,000, right? Like, they go, I want to make a change. I want to do something different, then they stay open to the possibilities that things that they haven't even thought of are going to come up. So, don't automatically cut off all future possibilities because you don't have $25,000 sitting in the bank. Like, be in the possibility of changing your future. And, we'll come up with ideas. We'll help any way we can. I mean, we've done this for years. We know, people need help. They need to think outside of the box sometimes, right? But they'll line up all day. You spend $100,000 on a liberal arts, degree, right? and that seems like it makes sense somehow because everybody's doing it, but they're trying to figure out the money first. It's not the right process to get financially independent, right? Because you never have the money. Nobody ever has the money.
Mm-hmm.
So just be aware of that and understand that we know the same things that go through your head because we've all been there.
Yeah, just find out if it's the right. This is what I've learned. My entire life, I've either started a business, worked on straight commission. So Jaron, the conversation you had with your father-in-law, I've had with the people in my life over and over and over. That's dumb. You shouldn't do that. That's risky. And I've lived my whole life like that. And what I've learned is, if I get into it and I make a decision, possibilities open up that never would before.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kat, my college roommate, he watched me do this for 3 years because his wife's brother didn't do good in the stock market in 2008, 2009. Don't we all know a lot of people that didn't work well for? For 3 years, he watched. And then I sent him a picture of my 6,000 square foot home getting framed that even I couldn't believe I was buying. And he goes, Amy, I'm going over there. It is time to go find out what Jaron is doing. Today, he's not in the insurance business anymore. He actually got to sell it for a huge chunk of money. And he's a full-time day trader. This is all he does. He goes on 4 or 5 vacations a year. It's awesome. His kids are teenagers and they get to go out and play and go to all sorts of locations. We didn't have that life until we found a way to get money to work for us instead of us work for the money. Guys, that's what this is. Come find a way to get money to work for you. If I'm telling you, hey, you could actually make 200% more money for the same effort after we've added funds to your account, I can't see how that's not worth $10 to find out if that's true.
Yeah.
So plug in, guys. It'd be fun. I mean, this is one of the funnest things I've ever done. It was one of the hardest things I did until I finally got my mind around letting the indicators tell me what to do. I saw someone asked a question, can I make this like a game, like a chess game?
Yeah.
It's not, chess has a certain way where I can sort of say yes, but at the end of the day, if you've got an ace in your pocket, you've got an advantage. And that's what these indicators are going to do. You're guessing until you understand how the indicators work. But when we saw that, Kat, you seriously could have hit the sell button tonight off of 3 minutes of us teaching you what to look for.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to start you there in Trader Light, and we're going to build from that over the next 3 or 4 weeks. And at that point, you guys are going to get to find out, should I find a way to make an investment in an education that I might not ever need to worry about money again? That's a possibility here. It was for me. And that's why I'm here. James asked me to come and talk to you guys about it. I was there in a year and I maintained it and stayed consistent because my coaches said, Jaron, don't push the envelope, make what you need to make, get out and come back again tomorrow. And that was the best piece of advice because it's not an 8 or 12-hour day anymore. It's let me get my trades in and let me get back to the rest of my day. I take my kids to school. I never got to do that. I go to their Christmas programs. I never did that in the mortgage business. That's priceless to someone like me. And if that's priceless to anybody else, guys, plug in. Let's get you going. Let's see how this is.
That's awesome. Jaron, that's a great place to end. I'll give you the chance for any last words if you want, but you tied it up in a bow for us. And Justin, I'm so excited to see what happens for you. And James, just thank you for being the leader and sharer that you are in creating this.
Hey, thank you. It's been a lot of fun. I think he's been posting the link in the chat, right? Like, do something different. Check it out, guys. At some point, if you want to see different results, you got to do something different than would be your normal pattern, right? And who knows, maybe it doesn't work out, but maybe it does. And that's what we want to be here for, the possibilities of hey, what can a future look like if I stop, if my first immediate thought isn't, I don't have 8 grand, or I don't have 25 grand. And that's where the average person stops, right?
Did you, Justin?
Say that one more time.
Did you have 25 grand set aside when you started this?
No.
But I happen to know, I have an insight into your life, and some things happened in the last 30 days that you might not have been able to predict. Kyle said, do the skills you teach translate well into other markets? I want to answer that. Feel free to jump in, James, but yes, because you are being taught that you have more control and that you don't have to work hard for your money and have 3 jobs if you want to get ahead. It actually opens your eyes to how the markets really work and possibilities, and that you can leverage your time and money. And I think if that's all you learn, it's really important.
Yeah, and was he specifically talking about the indicators working on other markets?
Talking about
or
lifelong learning.
like, sorry, say one more time.
Lifelong learning.
Oh, yeah. Dude, trading is like the best teacher of your habits, your bad habits, your fear around money, your consciousness around money, your, not being disciplined, not being able to follow, principles. Like, it'll teach you your bad habits to work on for sure.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
You
It's a
get to
great
make
thing.
money while you're doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're around like-minded people that think the same way and that are all sorts of into different life experiences and opportunities. I've met people I would have never met before from this that have really given me good insights on life, on business, some life coaching I picked up that I would have never done. Fitness coaching I would have never done because I didn't have the money or the time. So absolutely, this can put you in front of all of that.
Yeah, and that's a great point, Jaron. The way that we have it set up with the webinars and the chat and all of that, this really is a group effort, right? Communicating with everybody, seeing what they're looking at, seeing what the coaches are looking at, seeing what, trials or pitfalls that somebody's going through. Like, there's so much value in not doing this on your own and not having to figure out all the emotional hurdles on your own. The community is so important. There's so many people that you're gonna meet that you would have never meet, and maybe it starts out as trading and you meet somebody and you guys end up in another joint venture doing something else, and maybe trading isn't the end all, but it got started. I would have never met Kat or Revealed Films, who they put out a ton of great information, well-researched, documented. Everything that they put out that I've seen is done so well. And that's a space I would have never had access to had I not got into trading, right? So, there is other opportunities that this leads to by just getting out of that space that you've been in and start doing something different, right? All right,
Well
I'll
said.
get off of it. Thank you,
No,
guys.
that's well said. Thank
It's been a lot
you.
of fun.
We're at the bottom of the hour, so I'm gonna, say goodnight, everybody. And Justin, thanks for hopping on and sharing with us. Now you're gonna have to always give us updates. So, and
Yeah,
James,
welcome
Sharon, it was
aboard.
a delight meeting you and fun to see you make $75 in like less than a minute.
Thanks a lot. It was
To make it
fun.
my night.
Good
Good night,
time.
everybody.
All right.
Good night.
See ya.
Thank you.